If something ever doesn't go the way that you've planned and you find yourself in that situation, don't panic. The most important thing you can do is stay calm, stay present. Being able to be calm that you've laid a plan out, you've done what you've done that got you to this point. If something comes up that you didn't expect or that you didn't know was gonna come, your plan's not bad. It got you to where you are. Right now you have to deal with what's in front of you. That doesn't mean run away, it doesn't mean stop and don't do anything. It means deal with it. Deal with what's in front of you, move through it, move around it, move over it, move under it, but keep moving forward. Rectify the situation, regroup, and go.
I'm talking to those guys who hate to fail, because I hate to fail. It's really as simple as that. It takes tubs and tubs of ice cream, lots of tissues, lots of tears, lots of dramabazi, my mother, my best friends, my family, everybody making me feel better about it. But the one thing that is as certain as night and day, ladies and gentlemen, is that you will fail. It's just how it is. And there is nothing that you can do to stop that. It's what you do after that'll define where you go. When something I've invested in my heart and my soul, which I do with everything that I actually put my mind to, if that fails, I don't just wallow in self-pity. I roll myself in it. I roll around in it. I wrap myself in it, head to toe, self-pity, self-pity, self-pity. It's not a pretty sight. But then I get up, cry a little, dust myself off and dive straight back into life, because the only way to push failure aside is to move ahead. Not ignore it, analyze it, and learn from it. Always remember, you will never truly enjoy success until you have tasted failure. Fail, fail, fail again, and then rise like a phoenix. Now, what is life without a little bit of a risk, right? No, I'm not an adrenaline junkie. I'm not telling you to go off roller coasters or anything. I've always believed that you have to take risks, calculated, educated risks, to evolve. Because if you've not truly explored the full extent of your possibilities, you'll always remain stagnant. People have written me off several times in my career. Sometimes they didn't agree with my choices. When I played a negative character in my film Aitraz, very early in my career, I was told I'll be a vamp and no one will cast me as a heroine. When I took on a female-centric film called Fashion, again very early on in my career, I was told that was not norm. When I signed a US TV show at the height of my film career in India, each time the risks were huge. The stakes were high and the repercussions could have been, to say not the least, career-ending. Thank God they weren't, and I'm still standing in front of you. I really appreciate God. I don't know what will happen going forward, but as of now, I can say that my risks and the gamble was worth it. You know why? Because I backed up those risks with my 100%. Be bold and take these risks.
It takes three things to create a breakthrough in anything, in your personal life, in your business, anywhere. You need a strategy. But that's not the first place you should look, and it's the first place all of us look. Me too. It's our inherent thing. You want to lose weight? Well, how do I do it? I want to grow my business? How do I do it? It's instinctive. We've been trained to think that way. But the problem is the how-to is usually not that complex. I mean, come on. 70% of America is 75% of America now is overweight. Is that because it's so complex how to be fit and strong? Right? You know, only the 1% know the answers. They hide it from you. You have to work your ass off to not hear what it takes, right? And so you know, I remember I went to a TED Med Center and I watched about 12 doctors, one after another, get up and do these stories about how we could just get patients to take their medications and try to figure out the whole thing. And I was just looking and going, you're all talking about strategy and you've forgotten psychology. Because strategy is wonderful. I'm a strategist. I spent my whole life figuring out strategies. As we both know, a strategy could save you a decade, right? In business, strategy could save you, you know, it could make the difference between success and failure. But most people have strategies available, or they could get them, or you could create them. But the problem is you got a story. And your story is why it isn't working. And the story is, I've tried what? What? Everything. If you tried everything, you'd be fit. right? If you tried everything, you'd be profitable. If you tried everything, you'd be there. But people say it, I'm big boned. That's what I used to say. I'm still big boned, but I'm 38 pounds lighter than I was 25 years ago, and I've never gained it back, right? When I was big boned, that was my story. All the good ones are gone. That's why I'm not in a relationship. Or they're gay and I'm not, or I'm gay and they are, or whatever the story is. There's always a story. And what I tell people is, if you can just divorce the story of your limitation and marry the truth of your unlimited capacity, then the whole game changes. But it's hard to do that because when you're in your story, you don't even realize it. So you need a third piece for breakthrough, and that's really what my life's about, which is changing people's states. Because in a different state, we're different people. Can mean people be nice? Yes or no? Yes or no? Of course they are, when they're in a nice state. Can nice people be mean? Sure, they get a mean state. So really learning to train yourself to be in an ideal state where the best of you comes out for yourself, for your family, for your mission, for your world, for your coworkers. To me, that's one of the most important decisions in life to make. You ask me, out of all the people I've met and all the things I've seen, what creates a magnificent life? Everybody has goals and dreams that are different. Some people want, picket fence. Some want to make $1 billion. Some, want to have this huge breakthrough in technology. Some people want to write beautiful poetry. Whatever is right for people is what I want them for themselves. I don't want them to be like me or you or anybody else. I want them to have their dream. But to have it, you need 2 skills. You need, number 1, to have the science of achievement. It's a science. You have to know how to take your vision and make it real. And most of the people in this room have already figured that out. And this guy sure as hell has, and you have, and I have. So most of us know, and we can all refine our skills in that area. But we know how to take what we dream about, make it real. And if you don't, you can learn from somebody who does. The simplest thing is get crazily hungry for something. We all know when you get so hungry, so desirous, your brain starts coming up with answers. And then it's massive action, but effective execution, which is all modeling, which is, I assume, what this is about. Find the best example, compress the time. Let someone else take 20 years to figure it out. You do it in 2 weeks or 2 months or whatever the period is. We should all be standing on the shoulders of the people around us instead of reinventing the wheel. And then there's this thing called grace. If you work your ass off, you're totally focused, you're trying to serve something larger than yourself, and you really are executing what works, you need a little grace. You might want to call it luck if you prefer, God, the universe, but it's there. And we can all achieve. But I think the more important skill, if you ask me, is to have an extraordinary life is the art of fulfillment. And it's an art, it's not a science. Because there's a science to making money. I don't care who you are, if you do certain things, you're gonna have too much financial stress. You do other things, you're gonna have an abundance. There's a science. There's a science to your body. Everyone here is biochemically different genome, but there's certain fundamental patterns that if you and I follow them, you're gonna have tons of energy, you're gonna feel good. If you break them, you're gonna pay the price and have low energy or disease. But fulfillment is an art. What's gonna fulfill you is different than the other person next to you. You're not gonna learn that from anybody else. And you gotta find it, because success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And I get those phone calls all the time for the multi-billionaire entrepreneur or politician or business person or the person just won their Academy Award and they're depressed and they can't tell anybody because they got all their goals, but they're not fulfilled because they really don't have that sense of meaning in their life. They went for something and they got it, they achieved. And if you doubt this, what I'm saying is relevant to you or us or anyone, just think about a month ago, we lost what I consider to be a national treasure, Robin Williams. How many of you loved Robin Williams? Look around the room, keep your hands up, look. And most of you didn't know him. Almost every, and where you go in the world, people love Robin Williams. By the way, was he great at achievement? Oh my God, that guy, he said he wanted to become a great comedian, he did that. I want to make the world laugh, he did. I want to make my own TV show, he did. I want to have the #1 TV show, he did it. I want to make movies, he did it. I want an Academy Award for not being funny. Not his skill set, drama, and he did it. I want a beautiful family, and he did it. And then he hung himself. Make everybody happy but yourself. Not a good plan. So if I had a gift to give you, it would be maybe make a different decision. And the decision is that no matter what happens in your life, you're gonna live in a beautiful state. A beautiful state. And that could be happy, that could be grateful, that could be being generous. Those are all beautiful states, aren't they? It could be curious, it could be fun, it could be playful. You're not limited to one state, but it's different than suffering. And most people's suffering, and all suffering I've ever seen, I've traveled to 100 countries, I've dealt with presidents of countries and presidents of businesses, CEOs, I've dealt with people in prison, I've dealt with, you name it, average people. Suffering always comes because you're obsessed about something related to you. You can only be depressed if you're focusing on yourself. You say, no, I'm depressed because it's my kids and they're not doing well. No, you're depressed because you feel you failed your kids. It's about you. It's about how you think what you should have done or shouldn't have done, or what someone did to you or didn't do to you in the past or the future, which don't even exist. So I have a simple goal. My goal is help people make a decision that says, I don't know what's gonna happen. You might get a divorce, even though you don't think so. You might find a member of your family with cancer. You can't control those things. I can't control those things. I don't want those to happen to you or anybody I love or anybody who's even a stranger to me, but they're going to happen. True? Not positive thinking bullshit, just the truth. So if that's gonna happen, I say make a decision now that says, I'm gonna live in a beautiful state and I'm gonna find beauty in whatever life brings me. Because life is too short not to. I see a little buddy over here named Sean. I remember when I got a phone call from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Say, have a young man that's about to die and he wants to meet you. And he came to the seminar, and then I took him out afterwards. And at the time, if he coughed too much, they said you can't grab him. I said, I want to take him across the fire. They said, take him across the fire? I said, if he coughs, he'll break a rib. I said, I'll be really gentle. We're going to do this thing. And he did it. The bottom line is, this young man over here, who now is at a different stage of life, he's always been who he is. I think he lived because he lived for more than himself. I'm sure he felt pain. But we only suffer when we think about what's being done to us or what people are gonna think or what they should have done or hadn't done, and you can't control that stuff anyway. I mean, why be pissed when people are gonna do it? Are people gonna be mean, yes or no? Are people gonna be unfair and unjust, yes or no? Are people gonna be beautiful and generous, yes or no? You just never know when that shit's gonna happen, so might as well enjoy yourself along the way. And I suggest today, if you want, if there's any gift I came by to give you, it's to tell you what you know already, but get you to make a decision about it. To actually decide, I'm gonna live in a beautiful state. That doesn't mean I don't get angry or pissed or tired. Or, suffering arises and you end it the moment you go, holy shit, I'm thinking about me. If I do this, I'll always be suffering. The human mind is always looking for what's wrong. The human brain is not designed to make you happy, it's designed to make you survive. Happiness, that's your job. And you only get it if you draw a line in the sand, that's how it's gonna be. And I can tell you the few people that do it, I know a few people that have done it, they have magnificent lives.
One of my life mantras that saves my butt every single day of the week is this idea that clarity comes from engagement, not thought. So you can be, sitting on your couch and wrestling with two options, whether it's which business should I start? Should I stay in this relationship or not? Should I go back to school or should I, stay in this job? There's a million things that all of us kind of struggle with each and every day. And one of the things that's helped me, and I remember it was actually tied back to when I was considering whether or not to go for some type of career in dance. Now, I never had any formal dance training. My dance experience really was me moonwalking across my mom's linoleum floor in my white socks to like Michael Jackson. That's as far as the dance training I had. But I love to dance. And when I was starting my life coaching business at 23, one of the things that was awesome about that experience was getting a chance to really look at all my own beliefs and my own desires and what was in my own heart. And that's when I started to really identify that I didn't just want to be a coach, and I didn't want to just focus on one specific thing, and I loved spirituality, I loved business, I loved marketing, I loved personal development, and I also loved fitness, and I also loved dance. And so I was having a hard time reconciling what to call myself, what to focus on. It was really a confusing time in my life, and it was really frustrating because I had a lot of drive, and I wanted to help people, and I wanted to make a difference, but I didn't, and I couldn't figure out how I fit into society. So this idea of dance just didn't leave me alone. And I remember just saying to myself, like, if I don't actually go and take a class, like, how am I gonna know? And so I went and I took my first ever professional dance class at Broadway Dance Center. And getting into that class, I was terrified because, in the dance world, unfortunately, if you're 25 years old, in the hip hop world, you're kind of over the hill, which is disgusting to say.
You were the old woman in the room.
And that's crazy. Like, that is insane to say. And it's
Right.
not true everywhere, but I remember going into that class and it was like the warm-up section, and I just sat down on this wooden floor and I moved myself in the back because I was terrified that I would make people trip or that people would laugh at me. And I just sat on the floor, and the music came on and I started crying. because it felt so right. And I'm like, why have I tortured myself for like 3 years going like, could I dance? Should I dance? Should I try to dance? I mean, I tortured myself for years about that and was miserable. And so this idea, clarity comes from engagement, not thought. If you're wrestling with something, do anything you can to move towards the thing that you think you want. You know, if you're not sure if you should stay in a relationship, it's like, give that relationship everything you can. Go get some couples therapy, talk to somebody, say, I want to work on this. If it's a career that you might want to investigate or you might want to move towards, like go take a class, intern, get yourself embedded in that field somehow to test it, because your body has a truth, it has a natural knowing that you can never access through your mind alone. And I think that once you engage with your body and you actually take action, there is this flood of intelligence that you have access to that you cannot get any other way.